Hey friends, this is GOALIE TV. Glad to have you aboard here this afternoon for the first time this month from the studio. Well, you might have caught me earlier this weekend out there in Glenmore Park with Patrick from the Oilers Fanatic, of course. We're in this for a little bit of brunch this morning as Patrick got ready to leave Calgary and get going back north to Edmonton. That means we're locking in. It is just about time for this whole Edmonton Oilers thing to ramp back up for the season. And what that means is, well, summer's winding down and the Oilers are getting closer and closer to having to do serious business again. So with that, we'll discuss kind of a name that's floating around there. Again, if you caught Patrick and I's video earlier this morning on the Oilers Fanatic, you understand where this video is coming from. I just want to follow it up here on my channel, give you kind of the Coles notes in case you missed it earlier, and also tell you to go check out that video. So let's get to the somewhat important part. If you are new to the channel or coming by for another time and haven't hit that subscribe button yet, that's greatly appreciated if you could. Just simply kind of helps get you the videos faster, helps tell YouTube that people who tune into me care to tune into me, and that's really all there is to the subscribe button in the year 2025. Definitely also, if you're tuning in and you're excited for the Oilers to be coming back, leave a like on the video simply because let's get back to it. 2025, 2026 is going to be a big season for the Oilers, as have been the past 2 years. So what we know, basically Cole's note from yesterday, yesterday's recording and today's upload over on the Oilers Fanatic, is that Sebastian Cossa's name of the Detroit Red Wings is kind of, being connected to the Oilers, whether you want to say officially or not. It's kind of just one of those situations where he's a goaltender similar to some other places like Jonas Korpisalo in Boston. There was the situation, I believe, in where we were talking about Vancouver with Archer Shilovs, and maybe what's going on now that Shilovs is in Pittsburgh. You've got kind of some situations across the NHL where there's a 3-goalie, 4-goalie situation where teams are going to have to offload, and there's nowhere truer than that than Detroit. I mean, there's nowhere that has more goaltending depth in an organization than the Detroit Red Wings do currently or have had over the past 2 seasons. So to say that and kind of look at it from an aspect of how could the Oilers benefit, when you start seeing, guys rumoring or whispering that, hey, the Oilers are still in the race to possibly trade for that C-level goaltender in the organization. Whether Matt Tompkins is going to be that guy or not at the end of the day remains to be seen. But if the Oilers are still interested in adding that goaltender that kind of makes the difference for them in that 3 spot, well, Cossa and the Detroit Red Wings situation, just like maybe Korpisalo and Shilovs when he was in Vancouver, does make sense, whether officially connected or not. That's the Coles notes of what's going on there for the Edmonton Oilers and Sebastian Cossa. There's nothing official. There's no like Elliot Friedman tweet where it's like, hey, the Oilers checked in on Sebastian Cossa. There's none of that. All there really is the Oilers would love to add a 3rd-string goaltender that's young, that has potential to possibly fill that spot. I don't know what's going on with my camera, apologies there, but has potential to fill that spot alongside one Stuart Skinner long-term, or whether the Oilers choose to redo the goaltending after this year, be part of one half of whatever comes next. And of course, Cossa still waiting for his NHL opportunity, still waiting to bust through and be a big part of an NHL team. Obviously, he was a big part of the Edmonton Oil Kings a few years back, but obviously, hasn't grabbed a foothold here at the NHL level yet. And in Detroit, it continues to get harder and harder by the year for him. So the Oilers situation, looking for a guy like him, might be an option. Detroit, obviously, what's going to be the price? That is, at the end of the day, what's going to drive it. Now, the side of the conversation I had with Patrick that kind of complicates this as well is the Oilers goaltender that was supposed to be that guy was Ollie Rodrigue. We've known him, we've loved him. He's been part of the Bakersfield system, part of the Oilers system for a long dang time now. The issue with Rodrigue is the Oilers chose to part ways with him. He moved on to absolutely nowhere that we know of yet. He is still a free agent and available to sign. And the Oilers have Matt Tompkins as really the only proven AHL goaltender available at Bakersfield this season. So what that leads me to believe is the Oilers, similar to what Patrick is basically hammering home yesterday and today, is the fact that the Oilers will be looking at a goaltender in September. We know about the waiver wire idea, but again, the quality of goaltender you're going to get on the waiver wire in September, given where the Oilers are picking on the waiver wire, probably not the greatest, right? You're probably adding a 1A, 1B in Bakersfield rather than adding a quality goaltender to the organization's future. So now you talk about waivers and Matt Tompkins. Well, that's where I kind of pitched the idea of Ollie Rodrigue kind of comes in handy, because if you sign him, now you've got two guys that likely need waivers and only one's, maybe going to be at risk of being claimed, especially if Ollie Rodrigue doesn't get signed till that point. So you can go that route. There's going to be that goaltender, whether it's Rodrigue or somebody else sitting around waiting for a contract, and you can always do that. Or, that's where this Sebastian Cossa idea comes into play, is you could go out there and trade for Cossa, who again fits that organizational need, fits the idea of what you're trying to do now and tomorrow, and really get it going. But again, I will hammer back to the idea that really, unless Detroit wants to get rid of him, probably not moving. Unless Detroit really has a low cost on him, probably not moving. So for the Oilers, unless it makes sense, dollars to cents wise, makes sense to have a guy at that level join the organization for the right cost, it just won't materialize. It's just one of those things of, we continue all off season to hear the Oilers kind of doing their due diligence, kind of, doing things as we go along this summer that don't really pique curiosity or interest from too many people. I know there was maybe, like I said that day about Shilov's right before he got traded to Pittsburgh, maybe some common sense ideas that could work for the Oilers, but the asking price and the cost is too much all summer long so far. So unless things change, the Oilers are likely destined to either sign a C or D level goaltender for the organization just for, added depth and security, or, end of the day, as a trade materializes because costs come down across the NHL trade market for that third level goaltender in your organization, and now all of a sudden the Edmonton Oilers, a team looking for that, can materialize that trade based on a lowered cost, and then something happens. But for right now, I just wanted to discuss Sebastian Cossa a little bit further. That I think is the biggest, what if to come out of the video that Patrick and I did over the course of yesterday morning down there at Glenmore Park in Calgary. Other than really just talking about what the Calgary Flames are going to do, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well. What you think the Flames are going to be capable of doing. Flames radio down here, Pat Steinberg and the crew are basically saying, like, look, we got to trade Rasmus Andersson sooner than later. He's already a distraction, and the longer we let it go, it's going to be a problem. So, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on what the Flames are going to do and what they could achieve, but also the Edmonton Oilers goaltending situation, and whether you think there's been any progress made, or there's any prospect of making progress, whether it be before camp, during camp, or going into the NHL season. Friends, thanks so much for being aboard here today. Appreciate you hanging out. Of course, like I said off the top, hit that like button if you're excited that Oilers hockey coming back soon. For right now, I'm up on out of here.